USA. Well, hello, folks. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Steak Wedge Salad. Very simple. Trying to keep this as easy as possible for you guys at home, because we are cooking in the camper anyway ourselves. So, typically I would make my own blue cheese dressing and all, but I know that's a lot more than the home cook wants to deal with, so we're going to make this as simple as possible. So we're starting off here. Mrs. Chef went shopping at Aldi, and we got some Black Angus beef from Aldi. And it's a product of the USA, so it's not brought in from any overseas destination, so that's good. This is thin sliced sirloin tip steak, and we're going to sear it off, and that's going to be our steak part of this wedge salad. So let's open this up and see what we're dealing with. Join us. Ciao, y'all. So when she was shopping, we were going to get a thicker cut of meat, and this is the only steak they had in the store at the time, because the supply chain things going on and all. So this is super thin. It's going to cook very, very fast. So if you end up at your market and this is what you find, I'll show you how quick it cooks, and we'll try to make the best of it here. Alright, so there's an individual slice. You can see it's paper thin. That's the way it comes in. And Mrs. Chef says that's the way she wants it. I prefer mine to be a little thicker, but hey. So what I'm going to do here, you can see this gristle. It's a cross cut, and it's got several muscles coming together here. So I'm going to cut this gristle and stuff out and break this into smaller pieces that are easier to pan sear. So let's do that next. Okay, so I've taken that steak there and I've cut out all the excess gristle and all. Now what I want to do is pat any excess moisture off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pan sear this steak. And you want it to be as dry as possible, so that way your steak doesn't steam when you cook it. You want it to just get that crispy crust to it. And these are on smaller pieces, as you can see. And then we'll strip them up after they've cooked. I don't want to go ahead and strip them or they'll curl up because it's so thin. But yeah, you get the gist of it here. And sometimes I'll show y'all with the real steak, because this stuff is not really what you want to use, but it's what we have available with the current shortages right now. So kind of out of necessity. Wasn't even going to film this, but I thought, you know, this would be good for people to see how to make something basically out of nothing, out of what they wouldn't normally use. And I'm going to show you how, because who knows, this could go on for another year where there's these intermittent parts of the year where we don't have supplies and all. Okay, we got them good and dry. So there we go. Now I'm going to salt this, and I'm going to put fresh ground salt, fresh ground pepper on here. And here we go. And you want to do one side because it's so thin. You don't want it to be too salty or too spicy. So we got our salt and pepper on, lightly salted because it's so thin. We're going to put just a little bit of garlic powder on here. And we're going to do a little bit of Italian seasoning. Very simple, and simple spices, simple ingredients, stuff you'd have at your house. There we go. Alright, folks, we got a meat over there just hanging out, letting that seasonings get into and all. We're going to do that lastly because it's going to take just a second when we go to plate this up. So we're going to start off here with the vegetables and all we're going to use for this here salad. And for this one, pretty standard. We've got some grape tomatoes, the red onion, and cucumber. That's about it for this one. It's a very simple salad. Easy to make at your house. And it's a way to have a little bit of red meat without having a whole lot of red meat. So, yeah, let's get started here on this onion. We're just going to shave off some onion. This is some new knives I bought Mrs. Chef for Christmas. You even used these yet, Mrs. Chef?
Nope.
She's even used them yet.
Had anywhere to go to use them. Up here.
Yeah, I haven't been very busy except for... She didn't go with me this last week, but Haven't been that busy here lately.
I'm gonna use them now. Put some shit up.
Okay, so you make sure you're on camera here. You can do this either across the green here, like so, or you can do it with the green here, like so. So I'm gonna do it with the green. I'll show you how. You're just trying to kind of shave as you go. I'm gonna do this kind of slow. I do this pretty fast in real life, but I'm gonna do this slow so you can kind of see how I'm cutting here. I'm using my back knuckle here as my guide. I'm going straight down. That way, if you're using your knuckle behind there curled like this, you won't cut yourself because the knife is pointing away from you, because your back knuckle and your fingertip is pointed back. That way you can't cut yourself because the knife is always going away from your finger and not towards your finger. I'll show you when we get to this point up here. See, we went through the halfway point. Now the slope of this onion here is pointed towards my finger. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over like so. Now the slope is going away from my finger. So there's a good little trick for you guys if y'all doing this at home. Now we got some nice, very thin cut, almost shaved red onion for our salad. And what I love about this here salad is it's so simple. There's such little knife work and all that has to be done. So on your grape tomatoes, all we're doing is slice them right in half here. So super easy. This here is a Japanese style chef knife, and the cool thing about it is you don't have that point. So a lot of times when you're cutting something and you have something else in your board, let's say we had this head of lettuce here, your point would be hitting it, and then that's how you cut yourself, because the point stabs it, your cut gets off. Cool thing about this is your point won't hit anything because there is no point, and you won't accidentally put the knife in the wrong direction and cut yourself. But super easy prep, just cut grape tomatoes in half, that's it. And of course you can use, Roma tomatoes or beef steaks or whatever. Slice them or dice them however you like, but this is just a simple way to do it right here. So next thing up, we got an English cucumber here. And you can either abuse this vegetable or eat this vegetable, it's up to you. Now, English cucumber comes wrapped, it's very delicate, and the cool thing about an English cucumber compared to a normal cucumber is the seeds are very tiny, so you don't have to scoop seeds out like you would in a normal cucumber. There's things you can do. You can take your peeler and stripe it and make it have some cool characteristics or whatever you want. For us, since it's just us tonight, we are going to just give it some nice slices. Let me get back in camera here. Some nice thin slices we can put over our salad wedge here. Like so. So one thing about this salad that makes it kind of a unique and cool salad to do is if you had steak the night before or something, or even 2 days ago, and you held your leftovers back, you can take them cold leftover steaks and put them around your salad cold. I actually like it to be warm, so the steak part of it. And some people are really weird about salads. They want everything to be cold or whatever. I actually like the components having some things hot, some things cold. Right now I'm just taking these outer leaves, taking the first 3 leaves from around this head of iceberg off. That's usually where the stuff's funky. Now we got a nice beautiful head. Now a lot of people will wash these or whatever. It really bogs it down to me. I've never got sick from eating iceberg straight up like this when I'm doing a wedge. So I'm not going to wash the lettuce, but that's totally up to you. I understand if you do, and I hope you understand why I don't. There's a beautiful head of iceberg here, lettuce. And what I'm saying is you start to try to rinse this and that water gets all in there and then your salad's all soggy and nasty, but totally up to you. And for this salad, we're just going to use a quarter head of iceberg. When you're buying the iceberg too, try to feel if it's super dense, it's not going to be nice and fluffy like this. So when you're picking up your package of iceberg, if you're going to do a wedge salad, you know, give it some give there and see what it feels like. If it's got a little give, that means it's nice and fluffy like this, which is what you want for a nice iceberg wedge. So there's our 2 wedges. And let's move on to the next step here. Now I will trim this little piece right here off. You see this right here? That's where it was cut at the farm. Now you got a nice beautiful piece and you've taken that little piece that's got the discolorization on it off. There we go. Easy as that. Alright folks, so we're going to go ahead and dress these up here real nice and pretty with all of our vegetables we just cut here. I like to use a foam plate when I'm doing this part because that way I don't have to wash the extra plate. Got little shavings here of our onion. Nice little pieces here of shaved English cucumber. Alright, so the first part is done. We'll set these off of our cutting board here and get ready for searing off our steak. Because I like the steak to be hot on the wedge salad. Alright, so we got our skillet heating up here and it's got some olive oil in it. And you can use grapeseed oil or whatever kind of high heat oil you like. So main thing is don't overcrowd your pan. And when you lay the meat down, lay it away from you so if it splashes, it don't splash towards you. This can cook very fast. Alright, so it's going about 30 40 seconds. On that side, we're going to flip it over. And do about the same on this side. Alright, so at this point, we're going to add our blue cheese crumbles. And if you don't like strong blue cheese, you can get a Danish or something that's not quite as strong. If you like strong, get you a Roquefort or something that's Stilton that's really strong. Alright, there we go. We're going to throw our croutons over here, about 3 or 4 croutons. If you're gluten-free or whatever, then leave the crouton off there. That's not a big problem. And it'll be gluten-free. Let's go ahead and hit it with our dressing. Then we'll finish it off with our steak. Now this is just the Kraft blue cheese. You can use whichever one you like. I'll make your own. It's totally up to you. Here's our beautiful steak pieces that we just cooked up there. Nice and lean because we took all the extra fat and gristle off. And looky there, you can have some steaks and red meat without eating a whole lot of red meat. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful, folks. And your family's gonna love it. Unless they're small children, they probably won't like blue cheese, but I got an alternative to show you next. So, you're totally not a fan of blue cheese. I get it. I'm kind of a take it or leave it kind of guy myself. So I thought about doing an alternative version for you guys so you can see the difference. If you don't like blue cheese, you can still do a nice wedge salad. So this one I did with Thousand Island. And then some cheddar cheese instead of blue cheese. And we'll just put a steak right on there, just like the other one. And we will enjoy this salad just as much as the blue cheese salad. Yeah, one more little piece of steak on there. Now you can finish this off with a little fresh ground black pepper. Like so. And voila, enjoy your salad. Even if you don't like blue cheese, you can still enjoy a nice steak wedge salad. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys next time. Please leave a comment below if you enjoyed this presentation and what you would like to see us do next. See you guys.